Well, hello everyone. This is Mitchell Moat from the University of Tennessee and Tennessee State University Extension Program, bringing you episode number 3 of the Grass Masters Lawn Care Notes. You know, today as we walk out through the landscape, we're going to focus on some warm season grasses. In this particular slide, we can see some Bermudagrass that's beginning to break dormancy. This is some common Bermudagrass, and this picture was taken on the 8th day of April, about 12 days ago. And you can see there's a fair amount of green up already taking place. That Bermudagrass is waking up, it's coming out of its winter dormancy and getting ready to start growing this spring. If we fast forward 12 days to the 20th day, today, the 20th day of April, we can see that there's been a significant amount of continued development of that Bermudagrass. So it's waking up and starting to grow pretty good. For homeowners that are maintaining a Bermudagrass turf in their home lawn, what does that mean to them from a maintenance standpoint? Well, the fact that the grass is coming out of winter dormancy, it's starting to show a fair amount of growth, that's an indicator that it could benefit from the beginning of your fertilization schedule for the 2020 growing season. This chart recommends or indicates to you some example of maintenance programs of fertility or fertilization dates that one might follow based on what their performance levels are, what their expected, their desired level of quality from an appearance standpoint and from a performance standpoint. It goes all the way from a low maintenance program where the homeowner might make a single fertilizer application in the course of the growing season, all the way up to a high maintenance program where the homeowner might make 4 applications or so throughout the course of the growing season. On the high maintenance side, we're probably expecting that particular lawn to have access to an in-ground irrigation system, or at least some kind of irrigation system. That homeowner has pretty high expectations for consistent, very uniform turf appearance, turf quality. They're going to stay on top of weed control, and they're looking to maintain just a really high level of Bermudagrass turf in the lawn. And then down to the medium side, where they're a step above the low maintenance side, but they're not quite to the same level of the high maintenance program. Anybody that does follow the high maintenance program, you know, you're fertilizing more times throughout the course of the year, so it makes sense that you might need to be doing more mowing because you are feeding the grass more and that you would expect it to grow more. So you would anticipate having to mow more often on a high maintenance program than you would on a low maintenance program. Again, you can choose any maintenance program or no maintenance program at all. It's up to you. It's up to you what the homeowner desires in terms of expectations and quality and so on. I would point out that these 4 dates, April 15th, June 1st, July 15th, and September 1st, are target dates. You know, it's not the end of the world if you don't get that first application out there on April 15th. If it's April 20th or April 23rd or whatever, that's not the end of the world. Actually, there's no point of really trying to begin fertilizing that Bermudagrass until it does start to wake up and begin to grow. And those 2 previous slides we just looked at show us that it is starting to grow, so that it will start to benefit from the application of fertilizer. And you'll notice that if you follow the high maintenance program, that these dates are roughly 6 weeks apart from when you first begin that application on April 15th. And at each one of these 4 fertilization episodes, these 4 dates, we're suggesting that you apply a pound of actual nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. That's not a pound of fertilizer, but a pound of actual nitrogen nutrient per 1,000 square feet. The amount of fertilizer you apply will be determined by the analysis of the fertilizer material you choose. For example, if you use a 20% nitrogen fertilizer, it will take 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Whereas if you used a 15% nitrogen fertilization or a nitrogen fertilizer material, it's going to take you somewhere in the neighborhood of 6.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet to give you that same pound of nitrogen. What about phosphorus and potassium? Well, we don't really recommend applying phosphorus or potassium unless your soil test results recommend to you that the soil is deficient in phosphorus and potassium. So we don't make that recommendation unless you have had a soil test done. So other than fertilization, what else might you be thinking about? Well, weed control, I guess, is always one of the big maintenance issues, especially somebody that's trying to maintain a high maintenance Bermudagrass lawn in their home, turf in their home lawn. Crabgrass is one of those annual weeds that can certainly be a problem. We look at this slide right here. We can see these little 3-leaf crabgrass seedlings. And this picture was taken on the 8th day of April. So there's a fair amount of growth and development already taking place. We flash forward now 12 days. And in this slide, we can see some crabgrass seedlings taken on the 20th day of April, just 12 days later. You compare the amount of growth and development between the crabgrass seedlings on the 8th day of April versus the 20th day of April, and you can see that there's been a considerable amount of growth that took place over those 12 days, even though there were 2 pretty hard frost episodes in that same period. So what can a homeowner do to manage, to control this emerged crabgrass out there in a Bermudagrass lawn right now? Well, you would think about using a post-emergent crabgrass control product. Here's an example of a post-emergent product. It's the common ingredient name, the active ingredient common name is called quinclorac. An example of a brand would be, for example, Drive Accelerate. You know, the use of any brand name here is just for example only. It's not promote one brand over another. But this is for the control of emerged crabgrass. Now we know that crabgrass will have a long germination period. It can continue to germinate throughout the summer, all the way up from the beginning when it warms up in the spring, all the way through the end of the summer as we approach frost time. So what can you do about minimizing continued germination? Well, you could think about using a pre-emergent product about the same time or in combination with your post-emergent product. A good example of a pre-emergent product, a common name is dithiopyr or a brand name Dimension. You'll find them packaged either alone or in combination with fertilizer products. Those packaged with fertilizer products right now make good sense because you're thinking about doing fertilization on that Bermudagrass anyway. So you've got your fertilizer to go on the Bermudagrass, and then you've got your crabgrass preventer. So you're doing two jobs with a single application. So that makes sense. You also have the option of using just the pre-emerge by itself. Dithiopyr, again, as an example, you know, Dimension is a brand. It can be available in a liquid form that you see pictured here, or in the granular version that we saw a little bit earlier. In addition, those pre-emerge products also have some activity to get some of the summer annual broadleaves, such as the prostrate spurge that you see pictured here. So not only do you get the benefit from helping to keep those crabgrass and goosegrass and some other annual weedgrass populations down, but can also minimize the populations of some of these summer annual broadleaves. Now, crabgrass is not the only grass weed out there. You know, crabgrass, goosegrass, those are annuals, but we do have some perennial grass weeds. And here we see an example of some Dallas grass, which is a perennial warm season grassy weed. This slide was taken on the 8th day of April, about 12 days ago. And you can see that it's really starting to show a lot of emergence and greening up. You know, in some respects, Dallas grass is a little bit like Bermudagrass in that it is a warm season perennial grass, and it does grow back from rhizomes, just like Bermudagrass grows back from rhizomes. Here we see an example of this Dallas grass rhizome. Why are people concerned about controlling Dallas grass? Well, it takes away from the appearance. It looks a lot different than Bermudagrass does. It's got a much wider leaf blade, a much coarser leaf texture. It grows at a different rate, and it just really disrupts the uniformity. And the fact that it does spread by rhizomes, it's going to compete for space with Bermudagrass. There are selective options out there, I guess, for homeowners, but in all honesty, probably as good a program for a homeowner, if you're looking to control Dallas grass in a home Bermudagrass lawn, you might think about making spot applications on those patches of Dallas grass using a glyphosate containing product, like this example of a generic Roundup kind of product. You know, glyphosate's the active ingredient in Roundup, non-selective herbicide. There are brand names such as Roundup as well as generic names out there. And that glyphosate can be used as a spot treatment to control those individual patches of Dallas grass that are in the Bermudagrass. And then the Bermudagrass, hopefully, if you've got a good fertility program, it will continue to spread and to grow and to creep in and replace or occupy some of that space where the Dallas grass previously occupied it prior to you killing it. I guess that's about all that I have for you this morning, folks, on Bermudagrass and taking care of some of the issues that you might be facing from a home lawn Bermudagrass management program. I will say that if you have any additional questions, you can give us a call here at the Extension Service Office, 615-898-7710. We're not working there right now. We're working from home during this quarantine period, but we'll get your call. And if you leave a message, be sure and call you back, or you can email me at mmote1@utk.edu if you have questions about this or other lawn care questions. Well, folks, that's about all that I have for you today. I hope you found this information useful, and I hope you'll tune in again. Until next time, this is Mitchell Mote from the Tennessee State University of Tennessee Extension Program saying so long.